Hi guys, it's Kristen. Today I wanted to talk about book pitches and how to construct a good and successful book pitch. And part of this is because there's a lot of Twitter contests happening right now where you kind of need to cram your entire book into like one little tweet, which is kind of difficult. So, but it can be done. It's not impossible. So I just wanted to, talk about book pitches. The other thing is that they're pretty handy. If you know how to make a book pitch, they're handy for a Twitter contest. So if you're a querying writer and you have a manuscript and you want to get in on some of these contests, which are pretty fun, it's really handy to have a good grasp on how to make a book pitch. But the other thing that it's useful for is when someone asks you, what is your book about? And you don't stand there blanking, because that's what I usually do or did until I learned how to make a book pitch. And then you can just sort of ramble. No, not ramble. So let's try this again. When someone asks you what your book is about, you don't have to stand there looking at them like a deer in headlights because you don't know how to make it quick and snappy, which is what I usually do or did before I knew how to make a good book pitch or talk about my book quickly and efficiently, which is what book pitches do. They help you get across your idea in a satisfying and fast way. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what a successful book pitch has. It has three components, and that is a good sense of character, a good sense of conflict, and a good sense of stakes. And so questions to ask yourself that will help you get started on crafting your book pitch are: who is your main character, and what does she want, and why does she want it? Another good question, what is your inciting incident? What kicks off the story? What is your main character's goal, and what will happen if she fails to achieve it? And do you have a ticking clock? Because ticking clocks are excellent. They are a great way to make tension and stakes. Okay, so in order to kind of give you a sense of how to do this, I'm going to talk about my book, the one that got me into Pitch Wars, and that got me a ton of requests and a ton of, in the end, offers of representation. So it all started with this little tiny book pitch, and then also the first 250 words of my book. Okay, so these are my answers to those questions. So who is my main character, and what does she want, and why does she want it? My main character is Asha, and she's an exceptionally skilled dragon hunter. And she kills dragons. She wants to kill dragons because as a child, this big bad dragon burned her and also brought destruction and death down on her home. So that's her sort of motivation for killing these dragons. She wants to get revenge, and also there's a bit of guilt on her part, so she also wants to, she feels like killing dragons is a way to right her own wrongs. Okay, so that's my main character, that's what she wants. My inciting incident, which is the thing that kicks off the story, is that dragon that I just mentioned that burned her and destroyed her home. For the first time in 8 years, it's sighted in the mountains just surrounding where she lives. She lives in a medina. It's there's like this mountain range right, like half. It sort of surrounds the medina where she lives. So the inciting incident is the day that that dragon is spotted, and Asha hears about it through her dad, who offers her dad gives her a proposal. So she has been she's in this arranged marriage, or she's been betrothed. Okay, let's try that again. My inciting incident. So this dragon that burned her and destroyed her home, at the opening of the book, has been spotted in the mountains behind the medina where she lives, and her dad gives her a proposition. He will cancel this odious marriage that he's arranged for her, which is 7 days away. That's my ticking clock, 7 days. He'll cancel this marriage he's arranged for her 8 years ago if she hunts down this dragon and brings back its head before her wedding night. So that's the inciting incident. What's the next question? Okay. What is your main character's goal, and what will happen if she fails to achieve it? Well, you can probably guess what will happen from my answer to the last question, but Asha's goal is killing this dragon, this big bad dragon, which happens to be the oldest and most sacred of all dragons. It's a really important dragon. And if she fails to kill it, her father will marry her off to this super creepy and dangerous man. So those are pretty high stakes. So, and the last question, does my story have a ticking clock? Well, mine does. You don't necessarily have to have a ticking clock, but they do. They create tension and stakes. So if you can put a ticking clock in there, that is an excellent idea. But my ticking clock is Asha's wedding night. So when the book opens, her wedding night is 7 days away, and she has to kill this dragon within 7 days, or else she gets married off to this creepy dude. And so she'll do anything to escape her wedding, which means that the more she fails to kill this dragon, the closer her wedding day gets. So, okay. So from all of those answers and all of those like juicy bits, I created this pitch. So, Asha, the king's prized dragon hunter, must hunt a deadly dragon and bring her father its head, or be forced into a political marriage. So, that pitch has the 3 things that I mentioned at the beginning. It has character, it has conflict, and it has stakes. So the character is Asha, who's the king's prized dragon hunter. So that tells us a bit about her. She hunts dragons, so she's kind of fearless and a little bit fierce. The conflict is her hunting down this deadly dragon. And the stakes are her being forced into an unwanted marriage. So all of those things are in there, and it's actually, I think it's only 120 characters or 110 characters, so it's considerably shorter than what you would need for like a tweet for a Twitter pitching contest. So yeah, that is my book pitch. And I'm going to put some, what are they? I'm going to put some links in the little bar beneath this video, so you can look up. One of the links is to one of my mentors. I was in Pitch Wars, as I mentioned, and one of my mentors is Tracy Chi, and she put together this really excellent resource on pitching from her year when she was in Pitch Wars. She kind of collects all this data and tells you what made each of those pitches successful, so that is a really excellent resource. And there's a couple others there that you can check out, as well as my actual entry and some of the other impressive entries from Pitch Wars 2015. So yeah, I hope you learned something. Okay, thanks. Bye guys.